Alright then everyone, hello and welcome to the United States of America, the second home of wearing shoes inside, even worse politicians and rational decision making. We're here for round 14 of the NEF1 Championship, and now we're into the territory where the championship can be settled. Is it going to happen? For tonight it is going to be tricky for Djokovic. He needs a 21-point swing in the Drivers' Championship after Matty's win last week out in Singapore. They saw Djokovic come away with 0 points after an incident relatively early on in the race. Matty taking the win quite late on when the rain started coming down. But then Q1, Q2 and Q3 is in effect then. 17 people in the lobby for tonight. I should mention as well that whilst the drivers can be settled, the Constructors' Championship is not up for grabs as of yet. That will come into effect in a couple of races time. As it is relatively close. We might have a look at that later on in this session. But for now then, Kit W41, Noah and Spenclose out on track around this COTA circuit, which on this game is absolutely majestic to drive from what I'm understanding. In Sector 1 at least. Sector 3 is a bit more tricky, but we'll keep an eye out on what goes on. As YJ Marver retiring early on, serving a qualifying ban, so nothing untowards going on. We'll see him again for the Grand Prix in about an hour's time. So then the Drivers' Championship now, it is up for grabs for Djokovic. Matty, though, having claimed another win, is going to be on a decent momentum, and it's likely that the championship will be determined next week out in Mexico, which would be the first time that the Drivers' Championship in NEF1 is decided at the Mexican Grand Prix. It's been decided in COTA previously, if I'm not mistaken. Very well could be, though. I'm a bit iffy on that, don't quote me on anything. But then Kit now through that tricky Sector 3, and now is going to start his flying lap in his team's home Grand Prix, that is. Both him and Ginsters, and Haas team does now, if I'm not mistaken, was it Toyota, I think, the partnering with Haas. So that's going to be a bit of an interesting partnership going forwards. Not one that I don't think anyone saw that coming, to be fair. But why not? Kit W41 then followed by, is that Djokovic also on a fast lap? No, he's in the middle of Sector 2. But Kit then through the SS, handling those quite well. Relatively tricky sequence of corners, but absolutely perfect when you get him right, and he doesn't, just goes a little bit too wide. That's his lap done and dusted for. As here comes Noah 48 NEF1 in the McLaren. That's actually a championship contender in real life, obviously. Are they going to win the Constructors? Absolutely. Is Landon Norris going to win the Drivers? That's less certain. But definitely a possibility now. And especially if you take into consideration those weird things that happen throughout the season. Maybe even Landon Norris should be leading that championship by now. But it's not quite gone his way. And it's not quite gone Noah's way this season either. But decent result last week out. Let's see if he can capitalize on it. On board through Sector 3 then. Tight left-hander, never so tricky on the exit by the look of things. Doesn't really want to put the foot down too quickly. Now for a long sweeping right-hander, then this game looked like one sweeping right-hander instead of that kind of quadruple apex that it used to be. And through the final corner then, DRS opened just before the line, and it's a 134.006. First lap coming almost 4 minutes, more than 4 minutes into the session. So that's been hanging in the air for quite a while. Spenclose just a little bit slower by about 0.3 of a second on his first run. And Sam Obamo's just about to cross the line. Where do we find him on the timing board? There we go. And he's just about to come across the line for P3. Who's next up in line then? Could that be Tess? No, it's Darren Stahl coming up close to the line. And then we have one of the Saubers followed by a Red Bull. Ipsdude, 4th fastest, followed by Squidge, 2nd fastest. 1/10 slower than Noah, 48 then. And here comes Matty, only good enough for P2. Djokovic, fastest then, 133.526 there at the end. And where is Tess? He's coming around the final corner. And now Watson P2 maintaining his good form. And it's a 132.798 for YPC test. Take a bow. Jesus Christ, that's setting the bar high. Watts then maintaining his good form. However, on a set of soft tyres, that's still a respectable time of 1:33.738, which is going to see him through into Q2 without too much of a worry. As the Haas is now coming up on that line, Kit W41 and Ginstis. Kit there with a decent time, 1:34.644 ahead of Sam Obama and Ipsk Dude. And where did Ginstis go? I can't even find him. There we go, P3, 1:33.699. I couldn't find his time for quite a long time. But that's a very, very decent time, and on a set of mediums as well. Just slower than Djokovic, quicker than Noah, quicker than Matty. On the same tyre, Ginstis seems to be working quite well around here. It's good to see. JV8 then, having scored Sauber's first points of the seasons out on an outlap in Sauber. As Hybrids just come in across the line now for 33.850, a little bit quicker than his teammate, and up into the top 5 on a set of softs. So his best comparison at the moment would be Watts, who's just ahead of him on pace. We have a B2 who's in the pit lane, JV8 who has yet to set a time. He's on an outlap now and coming around the final corner. So I believe that's an Alpine. Might that be Darren Stahl coming around the final turn? No, it is YPC Test coming into the pit lane. So then JV8 looking quite comfortable throughout these S's. Let's see what the first sector time is at 25.640. I have no clue if that's good or not, but we'll see that in a little bit. And that's not good. Just, oh, that looked like going over the line for no real reason, honestly. And that is lap done and dusted for JV8. Test then in a commanding lead. As Spenclose come across for P2 at the moment. Djokovic then in P3. Matty all the way down in 8th at the moment. Is not all the way down in 8th, but that lap does need some improving probably to get into Q3, but should be nice and safely through into Q2. Still waiting for a BT to come across, or to come out of the pit lane for the first time this session. Might be waiting just a little bit longer. No movement down at Mercedes as of yet in your bottom left corner. I would imagine then this Sam Obama on a little bit of a race run, trying to get a feel for the track, a track which I believe should be a relatively simple one stop. Probably medium to hard, but let's see. There is a decent chance of a safety car around here. It's not massive, but there's a decent chance of a safety car. And this is a track as well where we've seen, and I keep mentioning this every single American Grand Prix we go to, but we also usually have monumental battles around here. So keep your eyes out for that. Dominic Go-Kart, thank you very much for the follow as well. Sorry for not pointing it out a bit earlier, but thank you very much. Hopefully you're enjoying the stream, buddy. Yeah, but always have good battles around here, so it is going to be fun to see how that translates now with a couple of new faces in the league, as well as not done too many races around COTA with us. A few of them have done a couple, a few of them it's going to be their first. And we are now coming up to the business end of the season as well, so it's going to be interesting to see how that all culminates. Constructor Championship, as previously mentioned, not up for grabs yet. That battle's actually heating up between Aston Martin and Ferrari right now, with Ferrari on a good run of form and Aston Martin struggling a little bit for the last couple of races. At the moment, not much going on in terms of track time. Djokovic has actually improved on his best time up to 1:33.141, so he's gotten a little bit closer to Tess. Still over 0.3 of a second off. JV8, what's he doing? He's coming around the final sector. Oh, and that was awkward braking. And coming into the pit lane instead of just setting a time. That's curious. Just leaving himself a little bit of less margin, but does not matter. Ipscdu then out on another set, needs to improve on that 37.324. He is going to find himself in the elimination zone come the end of this session. As Matty Van now on an outlap on, I believe, the same set of mediums that he already did a lap on. I could be wrong, but I do believe that is the same set. But apart from that, not much going on. The only cars out on track basically are the Ferraris. All Ferrari powered at the moment, if nothing else. That's about to change with a Red Bull coming out. See if that's either Spenclose or Squidge. That is Squidge coming out on track. But Sam Obama out there doing the race run at the moment, not too bothered with time. He's nice and safely through if nothing crazy happens. Should be going through nice and safely if nothing else. As for Squidge's reason for coming out, I don't yet know. Medium tires might just want to get another push lap on those tires, see if he can improve a little bit. His teammates up on 133.321 at the moment. Is that on medium tires? Yes, it is. As DRS opens up for Ipscdu on that humongously long back straight. So, when a couple of people are retiring from this session, both the McLarens then have disconnected from the session, not lobby. We'll see them again for Q2, not opting to go out again and set another time, but they don't need to, most likely. Unless everyone has a massive upswing of pace, that's a decent improvement from Ipscdu, but still not good enough to get Kit out of that P13 spot. So Kit at the moment is through. Ipscdu is the driver at risk. JV8 and a BT at the moment are actually the drivers that would be eliminated. All they need to do is set a time to get ahead of Jamar, which they should, and set a better time than a 1:35.710 to actually go through into Q2. Still nothing from a BT with 5 minutes to go. It's a bit curious. As here we go then, JV8 needs to get a time on the board now, because time is running out. 5 minutes to go. So now, no real room for mistakes, no real room for an invalidation, just needs to get a time on the board. JV8 then with Sauber's first points of the season last week out, should be on a good run of form. As yet more people are now retiring from this session, starting to see a couple of the front runners. Which means we're going to be focusing more on the battle towards the rear. A BT still in the pit lane. As here we go, JV8 comes across for a 1:34.960. Gets ahead of his teammate, doesn't get ahead of Kit W41, and might that be on a tire deficit as well? Let's just check that. No, it is not. On the same set of tires then. Kit is out wasting a set of medium tires right now then. That's curious. As a BT, time is running out of this session. You have 3 minutes to go, and it's easy to invalidate. I don't know really what to say. We have 2:45 to go. We've still not seen BT this session. What is going on? No movement down the Mercedes. I'm tempted to put a poll out asking the viewers if BT might have fallen asleep right now. $2:15 to go, still no movement, and we're coming up to territory where it's gonna be too late to get... Okay, movement down to Mercedes, BT's coming out. Thank God, with 2 minutes to go. This is leaving it late for the Mercedes driver. If he invalidates now, he's screwed. Okay then, so BT finally out on track, thank God. I was starting to just worry a little bit that we were gonna see elimination due to not even coming out, as Samo's now retired from the session as well. So basically all the top 10 apart from Squidge, who's out doing the race run at the moment, has retired. Looking at the bottom 7 at the moment then, and especially this little battle, Ipsk Dude and JV8 not gonna come out again, don't have the time for it. Their fate now lies in the hands of ABT. Is it going to be Ipsk Dude or ABT that joins JMR as the eliminee in Q1? We shall wait and see. Nothing else matters then right now. Wigan pops in a brilliant P5. Is that a set of soft tires? Yes, it is, but still 33.615 as decent pace. JV8 then is nice and safely through into the next stage of qualifying, so is Darren and Kit. Now it's all Ipsk Dude or ABT. And if ABT somehow invalidates this lap now, it might be one of the weirdest qualifying attempts in really this season. ABT is quick around here. And he'll know that. He's won around here before. He's been absolutely dominant here before. But you still very much can invalidate this. So let's go on board with ABT and see what he's going to be able to do. Here we go. Medium tires as well. It's screaming cocky from ABT right now if something was to happen. Nice and safely through turn 1. No risks. And it's this section that is the imminent danger. Time's out then, so if we do have an invalidation now, that is it for ABT in this qualifying session. Oh, no, and that is ABT out of qualifying, and that is just the danger of what could have happened. Losing the rear through the hairpin, and that is why you do not leave it to the last minute to go out. And I'm sorry to make an example out of you, ABT, you know I love you, but what on earth? Why would you wait that long to go out? And that is ABT out of qualifying along JMRV. And Ipsk Dude is through into Q2 along with JV8, Darren Kit, and Samo are the drivers that are just going to have to up themselves a little bit in Q2 if they want to make it into Q3. Matty just edging out his teammate by about 0.2 of a second. Tess absolutely dominated the session with a 0.3 advantage over the closest car behind him. That is Djokovic, followed by Spenklo, Squidge, Noah, Wigan, Ginstas with a good performance, iWatts in P8, Hybrid in P9, and Matty previously mentioned in P10. 7 is a 3.5 tenth gap up front. It's a quite substantial gap that between Tess and Djokovic. Then we have Spenclose and Squidge, P3 and P3 and P4 doing everything they need to for Red Bull at the moment, and they have gotten their act together a little bit, both boys at Red Bull. Started scoring consistent points. Spenclose, very unlucky with the rainfall last week out, but was on for a very good points finish. As here we go then, Q2 is underway. I believe Tess still needs an invite, so I'll just give him one to see if we can get him back in. Should be somewhere around here. Apparently not, no, because it is that situation now. Da-da-da-da-do. Okay, as we're gonna report, the Tess is back in. That's good. Tess, just for your information, I'm not gonna friend request you, which means I'm not gonna be able to invite you during the course of the race. That's gonna have to be someone else by the look of it. For some reason, you can't just send friend invites in the middle of a race. I have no clue why. But then everyone apart from Hybrid has come out, and we've seen Hybrid just stay in a little while longer earlier on in the season as well. But everyone else is out sharing basically the same piece of road. Matty's out in the field. It's followed by his teammate and the compatriot in the Haas. I believe that might be Ginstis just behind them. No, it's not. As an awful prediction is Kit W41. I always keep doing that. Should stop trying to sound smart because I'm not very good at it. Here we go, Matty round the final corner then, and to start his first attempt in Q2. Q2 actually used to be way more interesting back when we had the Q2 tire rule. That's gone. Now less interesting. It's just a procedure basically of usually the same people in the top 10 in Q1 in Q2. There's no stakes anymore really in Q2. But we're gonna see some more people eliminated, and where's what's boring about that? Seeing people having their hopes crushed. We always have a surprise elimination or two now in NEF1 as well, which is always quite fun. So there we go, Matty through the S section's looking solid so far. Put the lap date on so we can actually see some sector times. And through the hairpin where it all went wrong for BT a couple of minutes ago, and that's a decent effort from Matty. Actually really, really solid on the exit. That's really solid on the exit from Matty Adam. And his teammate is just behind him as well. Might actually be benefiting from just that little bit of slipstream. But the question is if he's just suffering from a little bit of dirty air as well. Wouldn't put it past him. Ooh, was that a little bit of a locker from ATMC? I don't yet know. We'll wait and see what the final time is. Hybrid still in the pit lane. As here we go then, Matty across line on a set of mediums, 33.763, that's a decent time. Samu beats it on a set of soft tires by about 5/10 of a second. JV8 now is going to cross line in just a moment. Ginster is coming across for a 33.173. What tire was that on? We'll wait and see. Jay comes across for P5. Ginster on a set of softs. Noah on a set of softs. Squidge on a set of softs as well. Okay, everyone's going to have to qualify on a set of softs probably for this session then. Maybe apart from Tess and Djokovic. Those might be the exception. Djokovic's on a set of softs, whereas Tess, that's a set of mediums on a 32.665, which is absolutely mental. That is absolutely ridiculous. Both the Red Bull qualifying on softs and can't get close to that time that Tess put on a set of medium tires. Jesus Christ. We have seen, though, Tess usually might in qualifying falls back a little bit for the race. Djokovic was well and truly on him for the Singapore race before the unfortunate retirement. Matt didn't lose too much ground as well, and then when the rain came down, it all, everything obviously switched around. But then for Djokovic now, it's all about just scoring consistent points, and the championship is going to come to him sooner rather than later. As here comes the to-be three-time NEF1 champion and his P2 just behind Tess on a tire deficit, but crucially for him, 2 tenths quicker than Red Bull. Whereas Hybrid, he's out on track at the moment, just finishing up his outlap. People are already coming into the pit lane. Kiddo already entered the pit lane a little while ago, not a successful first run. Hybrid now opting to get into the top 10 sooner rather than later as well. Solid enough this from Hybrid 472 at the moment. I'm going to be looking at an apex time of about 40-41 seconds, which he manages through that happen. Let's see what he's going to be able to cook up in about a sector's worth of time. So 102.725, decent enough. So let's see what he's going to be able to do through that third sector, which really makes or breaks your lap around here. Have a good third sector and see your lap time elevated. Have a bad one and see it absolutely plummet. As here we go then, round the final corner. Spenclose goes fast out of anyone on a set of softs, and Hybrid goes 8th fastest, 33.551, whereas his teammate about 4 attempts ahead on the same set of tires. Spenclose, though, goes faster than Djokovic on the same set of tires. That's going to be crucial for the Red Bull. See if Squidge can do the same now, because he's also on another flyer. And those are decent lap, 32.639s. The question then is, could Tess dip a toe into the 131s on a set of softs? A Squidge just backs out of the lap. Spenclose goes past. There goes Hybrid as well. Nothing really interesting going on at the moment. Noah's out on an outlap, which I wouldn't deem too interesting. Iwatts, Darren, Jay, and Ipsdude have all come out virtually at the same time as well. So JV8's just about to start another flying lap. Needs to improve by over a second to get into the top 10. Not impossible, but tricky to put Matty outside the top 10. Matty at the moment sitting P2 in the driver's standings, and is one of two contenders to Djokovic's lead. Tess is, I'd say, likely to fall out of that category this evening. Matty, unlikely to fall out of the category of championship contention this evening, but it can happen. In which case, Djokovic would be the first three-time NEF1 champion. No driver yet, though, to win 2 consecutive Drivers' Championships. And no driver but Djokovic to win 2 Drivers' Championship at all either. He's about to become a 3-time NEF1 champion. No one else has even got 2. As Darren as well on a decent run of form, so let's see what he's going to be able to do around a COTA track, which he's seen some success around here in the past, Darren style. Let's see what he's going to be able to do on a very good run of form over the last couple of weeks. Ooh, a little bit of a shaky penultimate corner that. Is he going to be able to carry a decent amount of momentum through the final one? And he does, and it's just not good enough for the top 10. Misses out by a couple of hundredths of a second, but gets out of Iwat. Should have time to come into the pits and go out once again if he does have the tyres to. As for Iwat at the moment, he's improving through Sector 1 and probably through Sector 2. So it's Ipsk-Due to go very iffy around that final corner. 35.533 kits out as well then. As Iwatts is improving by 0.6 of a second, and now Matty is most likely going to have to come out again because Iwatts is right there. Wigan and Hybrid there as well. I reckon we might just have a surprise elimination on our hands this session, but it all depends on what time Iwatts and I believe Kit are going to be able to set. Here we go then, round the final corner. It looks like it's going to be a relatively good one, and it's a very good one. 33.344 for Iwatts. That might just be good enough for Q3. Might just be good enough for Q3. That is going to force a response from both Hybrid and Matty, though. It's going to force a response from both of those. Wigan's already out prepping. But Matty is now out of this session on pace, so he's going to have to come out again. Hybrid doesn't have to, but probably should. So here we go then, Jace just starting another flying lap. Or has he just finished one off? Yeah, I believe he might have just finished one off, actually. That's my bad. Kit, however, has just started flying lap, sorry. As Ben, Close, Tess and Noah now have all retired from this session with a couple of minutes to go. Fortunately can't get a session timer because the yellow flags all over the track. Squidge is retired as well, 150 to go. And Kit is on a invalidated lap, so I'll have to hurry around once again. As Hybrids now come out as well. Wiggins through Sector 1 at the moment. This is going to be a crucial lap for him. Darren would have to improve, and he is improving his Darren style. Darren is improving. So now through the final sector, and he's going to be able to get into Q3, gets ever closer, forces Matty down another peg, but doesn't quite get in. Missed out by a couple of hundredths of a second, and surely he's not going to be able to improve on this lap. Surely not. Wigan is not improving at the moment. He is in danger, but he has time to go round one more time. 1 minute to go. Matty needs to make a countdown and validation. He is out of this session, as Jay and Ipsdude already are. How's Kit going along? Just started another lap. But pressure on Matty MC now. Or Matty Adam 16 should be said. When you've said Matty MC 16 for well over 4 years now, then it becomes a force of habit. Prove it happened then where it went wrong for ABT about 15 minutes ago. Doesn't go wrong for Matty now. We're coming up on the Sector 2 split, which is going to give us a decent indicator. JV8 is out of session then, along with Ipsdude and I would imagine Darren Style. Is it going to be Hybrid, Wigan or Matty joining him? And could Kit potentially break out as well? Matty's improving. He's not improving by a massive amount yet. Matty could be struggling here. Is Samo going to be the one to carry Ferrari into Q3 by himself tonight? Oh, it's going to be close. Let's see. Matty Adam, through these last 2 corners now, needs to get a good run through here. And that's a very good penultimate corner. And how is that final corner going to be? Nice on the apex, nice and early on the power, solid on the exit. He's through into Q3. P9 for Matty Adam 16. Wigan is maybe out. It depends on what he's going to be able to do now. Let's wait and see. Wigan's improving. Hybrid now, the driver at risk. Kit is done for the session. Matty's still in danger here. Both Wigan and Hybrid are improving. And Matty is definitely not out of danger here. Wigan's going to be fast across the line. This is either going to be Wigan or Matty, because Hybrid's improving by a big amount if he makes it through this next sector. Matty, Hybrid or Wigan. Wigan across the line, then what is it going to be? It's going to be P6. Matty's in danger because here comes Hybrid. 2 corners to go. And is Matty going to go out in Q2 on pace for the first time in a long time? The answer to that, yes he is. Hybrid goes through into Q3 on the last moment. Matty MC is out of qualifying for the US Grand Prix. And by the slimmest of margin, 100th of a second, to form a rival around here as well. Watts, that's not going to feel good. Matty Adam, Darren Style, Kit W41, JV8 and Ipsdude all out here. As there's a 7/10th gap between everyone inside that top 10, which is absolutely brilliant to see. Tess and Djokovic getting through on medium tires and very close to spend close on that set of softs. But that's a shock if I've ever seen one. Iwat, Samo, Ginsters, Wigan Hybrid, Squidge, Noah, Djokovic, Tess and Spenclose goes through into Q3. That's an exciting end to Q2 if I've ever seen one. But then a couple of games ago, I would have been able to give Matty and the others a message of consolidation saying you have free tyre choice. But now, unfortunately, everyone has free tyre choice. Here we go then, Q3, and we are looking at a battle between YPC Tess and Djokovic at the moment. But YPC Tess definitely the favourite for pole position. Is anyone going to be able to challenge him? We'll wait and see. And keep in mind, with Matty on this run of pace as well, the championship being settled tonight has just gotten ever so slightly more likely. 21 points Djokovic needs on Matty in order to settle this. Then the gap will be 104 points, with 100 race points up to grabs and 4 fastest laps. Djokovic, though, would take it on victories over Matty, even if Matty was to hold that deficit in. Everyone now diving out of pit lane virtually again at the same time, apart from Hybrid who stays in. But then Iwat in the top 10 in qualifying once again. It's going to feel good for him. We have both the Aston Martins in, only one Ferrari, which is really bad, as well for their Constructors' Championship Challenge. Both McLaren in, as well, it's worth pointing out. And Ginsters actually had a really good session so far. What is he going to be able to do now in Q3? Ginsters definitely one of the surprises of the season. He's about to start a flying lap, along with YPC Tess. First time test this session then on a set of softs. Locks up into turn 1. Let's see what he's going to be able to do. I gave him the silent treatment last week out in Singapore. Why not do the same here in COTA again? On board them for the rest of the lap with YPC Tess. Here we go, and it's been an absolutely brilliant lap, and it is into the 131s this session for YPC Tess. And if that's not good enough pole position, I honestly don't know what would be. Ginst is not far off those 131s, to be fair. Djokovic just invalidating on the final corner. Let's see if he pushes straight on. 131.801 is an absolutely immense lap. Ginst is 32.445. It's a very good lap as well. Spenklos comes across line 32.56 for Ginsters. Jesus, that's on good pace. Quicker than both the Red Bulls. And the Ferrari and the McLaren. Ginsters at the moment sitting in P2 in the field. And it's a very, very decent lap from him. As here we go, Van Wigan through Sector 2 at the moment. Djokovic obviously invalidated his previous lap, but he's just ahead of him going through Sector 2 and in Sector 3 now. So 102.892, which doesn't indicate it's going to be a brilliant lap for Djokovic. See if he pushes on or if he comes straight back into the pits. But it's not going to be a lap that says the timing boards alight this from Djokovic unless he has a world record pace third sector. But Tess at the moment is leading the field by about 0.6 of a second over Ginsters. And Djokovic is coming into the pit lane. But then Wigan going through the final and third sector now, then through the penultimate corner and the last corner. Let's see what he's going to be able to cook up in the second Aston Martin. Usually more of a racer than a qualifier Wigan. That is a 133.175, only good enough for P8. Slowest out of the runners. Sloven Iwat, Sloven Samo. Hybrid and Djokovic yet to set a time. We're expecting Djokovic to jump ahead of that. Hybrid will wait and see. I believe we got P6 in the end in Q2. So it's a decent lap from Hybrid that. Yeah. A very decent lap from Hybrid there at the very end. As here we go, then nothing exciting is going on out on track at the moment. Still very, very overcast conditions. I don't know what the track conditions are going to be like during the race. Hopefully we don't have any rain. Actually, rain could spice things up a little bit around here, but hopefully we don't have any rain for this time. As my beloved admin colleagues, both ABT and Matty at the moment, speaking about the joys of going out early in qualifying, not having to sweat for Q3, that's one way of putting it. Well, at least there's some optimism there. At least there's some optimism for the multiple time race winners and NEF1 champions of ABT and Matty, respective championships. But here we go then. Djokovic is rounding the hairpin now on his second outlap, so it's going to be fun to see what he's going to be able to cook up. Tess is on another outlap. So then it's not going to be a I am him moment for this week either, as I was kind of hoping he would do in Singapore and not come out again after his first run. As Ginst is saying, he's suspecting he doesn't have a good race setup, only a good qualifying setup. Is that spots of rain coming out? Yeah, that's spots of rain, and now... Well, hasn't that thrown a spanner in the works? Because this has eliminated any chance of Djokovic and Hybrid getting good laps in. We're going to have the two championship contenders next to each other on the grid, but he's not going to be on the front row, he's not going to be on the second row, he's going to be on the 5th and 6th row on the grid. Because I highly doubt, yeah, just look at the wheel spin, Djokovic's getting out of the last corner. He's not going to be able to get a time on the board, Djokovic. He's not going to be able to get a good time on the board. He might just be able, yeah, if he gets a time on the board now, he's going to be able to go quicker than Hybrid or ahead of Hybrid. So still needs to get this done. But that's qualifying settled. YPC Test has pole position for the American Grand Prix. Ginstis takes his first front row start in NEF1. This has saved Matty a treat here. Spenklos and Squidge P3 and P4, No in P5, Samo P6 with Iwatts in P7 and Wigan in P8. Djokovic is going to come home for P9. Hybrid is going to take P10 unless anything crazy happens now. But it's not going to be improvements on this lap. Surely the track is now getting wetter and wetter. And that started happening quickly. Now, are we going to have rain for the Grand Prix? Does anyone know? Djokovic, who is ever so good. Yeah, it's a 105.401. This lap's not going to count for anything for Djokovic, I'm afraid. Djokovic is usually so good in the wet conditions. Would have loved this rain to come at the very start of the session. So that is the first front row start for Ginstis 83. So congratulations to him. Tess takes his third consecutive pole position, if I'm not mistaken. So that is a very good track record as well. Ginstis is going to be in a bit of unfamiliar territory for him. Djokovic then sacrificing an M plate. Everyone asks, well, dispensation, even if you're out on track, if you do want to retire, feel free to. So nothing else is going to happen for the remainder of this session. So dispensation for everyone in this session to just retire if they want to. No need to, but just dispensation issued for those willing. But yeah, that is qualifying over. Tess on pole position, Gints is in P2, Spenklos in P3. We can see Djokovic just trying to make it around a snail's pace through the SS, or is actually trying to drift the car, I don't know. If it's that damped naturally that he can't go in, I don't know if he's just having fun with it now. If he's actually struggling to keep it on the track this much. No, but I think that's a little bit of drifting from Djokovic there, just giving us a bit of entertainment. But that's a quick end to the session. Well then, so qualifying is over in the most, can I say, most boring way possible, maybe. Squidge and Wigan the only ones remaining in the session now. No one's going to be improving. Tess, Ginstis, and Spenklos is your top three, followed by Squidge, Noah, Zamobamo, Iwatts, Wigan, Djokovic, and Hybrid, and able to get a time in. That is how crucial it is to get a time in early on the board. YPC Test then takes pole position by 6/10 of a second over Ginster's 83. Spenclose and Squidge not managing to get past the Haas as rain started falling in the middle of the session. No MP5 followed by Samo, Iwatts, Wigan, Djokovic and Hybrid. That is your top 10 for a Q3 session, which was less entertaining than what we would have hoped for. But we are moving quickly towards a race that could throw a couple of spanners in the works. But then it's going to be a couple of minutes until we get that race underway. So everyone just sit back and relax for a little bit until we get that going. Yeah, until then, just stay with us. It is dry conditions in COTA for the Grand Prix. We've got, if I'm not mistaken, 25 laps worth of racing action around here. Might be a bit more. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back for the American Grand Prix in NEF1 in just a couple of minutes. So then, everyone, we are back for this American Grand Prix. Before we get this race started, we're just gonna have a look at a few things beforehand. That is the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship. And as you can see on screen on your right-hand side there, Djokovic is leading by 229 points over Matty's 146. YPC Test and Squid still just in contention. That is likely to disappear after tonight. We'll wait and see how that unfolds. Wigan Spenclose locked into a battle as well for P5, maybe along with Squidge and P4. We'll wait and see. But then it is close between Samo, BT, Iwatts, and Nolux, and all the way down into the second half of the order as well, with Darren and Ginstus being right there. JV8 scoring the first point for Sauber this season. As we can see, the Constructors' Championship is heating out very close between McLaren and RB, who switched places after last week. Close between Mercedes and Alpine on an upwards trajectory as well. And Aston Martin and Ferrari locked into that championship battle. So then there we go, the ready up has been given. We'll be getting this race underway in about 30 seconds. So that is going to be interesting. JV8 with a bit of a smacky comment there in the Twitch for those of you who are watching on there and not on YouTube. But then the race is about to get underway. We got a front row YPC Test and Ginstus. We're expecting YPC Test to maybe run away with this one for the start, if nothing else. Especially now with Djokovic starting a bit further towards the rear. We'll see what the Red Bulls can do, as Ginstus won't be too used to running in this P2 position. But it is brilliant as well to see an American team that far up the order on American turf. YPC Test then leading the formation lap over Ginstus, Spenclose, Squidge, Noah and Samo. Iwatts in P7, followed by the two Aston Martins in P8 and P9. Wigan in front of championship leader Djokovic, Hybrid in P10. Matty, championship contender in paragraphs in P11, followed by Darren Stahl, Kit W41, JV8 in Ipsdude, Jamar in 16th, and BT in 17th. So let's just have a look what strategy everyone is going to be on. Everyone on medium tires apart from Hybrid P10, who's starting on the hards. No one on the softs. No one on a set of soft tires. That's a bit disappointing, but probably giving us a decent indicator that soft is not going to be a good race tire for anyone here. So we're expecting everyone to stay well clear of them for this entire Grand Prix. Late safety car, early safety car, we'll wait and see. We've had a couple of late ones here. Not too early safety cars usually. Not too many safety cars this season in the F1 either. Kind of like real life F1, they've not been busy this season, as Tess is now leading them around the quadruple right-hander. But a decent field spread at the moment. SJ, please close that gap up. Here we go then. YPC Test just now lining it up on the front row of the grid alongside Ginstus for the first time in NEF1. It's an all Red Bull second row, followed by Noah and Zamo, two rivals, P5 and P6. 7th and 8th is Iwatts and Wigan, Djokovic and Hybrid, P9 and P10. Matty just behind them in P11. Here we go, then everyone is lined up. We're just waiting for those lights to come on now. Here we go, race control has disabled the RS then. We have 5 red lights for the American Grand Prix, and it is lights on, away we go, and Ginstus gets away well. Tess just recovers in the second phase of his start. It's a tremendously bad start for Squid 2017. Is he going to lose any positions? No. Ginstus holds on to P2. Spenclose just takes him Coming off the first corner though. No massive losers, no massive winners. Jamar sub 3 positions. Hybrid down 4, but no incidents throughout the first couple of corners. Ginster still holding a podium position. Squidge down a place on Noah, not getting offline properly. I was quite far back, almost heading into the, almost going past the pit exit, which was actually quite substantial. Where's Matt in all this? Up 1 position at start, P10 for him. Darren up 3 positions on the start, up to P9, and is now trying to go around the outside of Matt in 2, makes light contact. But then Hybrids had an issue on the start now, down 7 places. Is he without a front wing perhaps after contact in the first corner? Nasi there with a prediction in chat. Djokovic P9, Matti P11, Gintzis P2. Looks like I missed a banger of quality. Yes, you did, Nasi. Unfortunately, though, Q3 was interrupted by that little bit of rain, which didn't allow too much to happen towards the end of the session. That is Wigan going a little bit wide and losing a bit of time on SFLY Jamar, who's getting closer and closer to the points, and by a rapid pace as well. Djokovic had a decent start, up 3 positions as well, and is now behind Squidge on track, and is going to clear the, or is going to aim to clear the Red Bull quite quickly. Lap 2 out of 28 now, and as a decent fast lap, spent close behind Tess by about 1 second. Ginsters holding P3 over Noah 48. Hybrid and not having a good first lap. I'd imagine it's a new front wing on the McLaren. Yes, it is. A new front wing and nose cone on Hybrid's car, and it's going out on a set of mediums. So when DRS is enabled, Squidge is very, very close to the back of Noah 48, who won't have, might just have defensive DRS on Ginsters. We'll wait and see. And Djokovic is right there as well, and Noah's going to be taken by 2 cars here. Squidge and Djokovic going past. Djokovic, however, cannot get past Squidge on his attempt, but it's up to P5 Noah. No need to go defensive, can't do anything about it. Just play it safe and wait this battle out. Realistically, he's not racing Djokovic, maybe Squidge, but I don't believe he's racing either of them for position, really. Might be waiting for Ginsters to come toward him, but Ginsters is pressuring Spenclose at the moment. It's going along nicely here. As DRS is enabled on the start-finish straight as well. That Haas doesn't look rapid in a straight line, though. Decent downforce, right? It's getting good exits against us, but straight line speed-wise is not looking rapid, and that could turn an issue now with Squidge and Djokovic coming up on the scene, and that's Ginsters just going a little bit wide in the SS and maybe just collecting a warning. He lost time due to it, though. Might have gotten away with that. But now he's losing time on Spenclose. Spenclose's going to do everything he can to shake Ginsters now in order to just help his teammate a little bit as well. But he can't do it on this lap. So let's see even how much Ginsters can gain on Squidge. Djokovic's Djokovic's already on Squidge here. And it's now a drag race down to the braking zone. And that is a drag race that Djokovic is going to win out on. Ginsters doesn't quite get close enough to Spenclose to make a move, but it gets a bit uncomfortable, and that is going to allow Djokovic to send one down the inside, and Ginsters is going to lose 2 positions at once there, getting a bit caught out. Djokovic, that was an opportunistic dive, but wanted to clear that Haas as soon as possible, and now 3 seconds behind the race leader, 1 second behind P2. Djokovic is recovering very well, up 6 positions on the opening 2 laps. And this is a track where Djokovic is ever so good. The championship is not determined by the way things are right now, but it's not far off. Matti at the moment in P8, desperately needing those points. Because with the pace that Djokovic is carrying right now, he's not out of contention to be able to catch YPC towards the end of this race. We'll wait and see how much Tess is pushing along as well. Not really being challenged by Spenclose at the moment. I would imagine that Djokovic had been pushing relatively hard on that medium tire, and we've had an issue for a BT coming out of turn 2. Sim slowly trying to get out of gravel, and we have the first penalty of the race for Sam Obama. It's a free second time penalty, multiple track limits infractions. As for some reason a BT gets a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits, which unfortunately is going to be served in the pit lane, which is absolutely ridiculous. So for his sake, let's hope we do have a safety car so he can serve that with a little less consequence. Djokovic now well and truly in the back of Spenclose. Here we go. This is going to be interesting. 5 tenths of a second. Lap 4 out of 28. It's actually going by quite quickly, this. We're now on lap 5 out of 28. Tess has not ran off with this one. 2.2 seconds out of Spencer. Oh, Djokovic is basically pushing Spenclose coming out of that fast corner. Now, is he even going to have a look through the SS? No. But it was just there to let that Red Bull know that he could. And now then, heading into the left-handed hairpin, and we're expecting a move coming out of this corner. Djokovic a bit better on the exit so far, and he gets a much better exit than Spenclose this time around as well. He wouldn't need DRS to make this move, but it's not even going to be an overtake, it's just a drive-by. That's a wrong term to use. He just drives on by. Spenclose 64 in a straight line. That's an awful terminology to use. But he just breezes past Spenclose on the straight. Djokovic's up into P. Oh god. Djokovic's up to P2 and Test 2.5 seconds up the road. That's awful. That's actually awful terminology. That's bad. Oh well. Happens every now and again. What's then in P6 having a good race as well, not far off Noah. It's not far off the Red Bulls actually. A little bit of a train from Djokovic down to, well, I'm gonna say Matty Adams 16 down in P8 even. As Gins has fallen down a couple of positions during these opening laps, now down P7. So it's a very, very good qualifying performance for Ginsters. Let's see what he's going to be able to make of it during the race. Looks like he still has the pace down with these guys. But it could have been correct there with that quality pace terminology that he put in late or earlier on in the stream. As JV8 is putting pressure on Kit W41 for VSS. P12 at move as JV8 gets very close to Kit. As the Red Bulls now, I don't know if they switched or if they overtook one another. But here we go, and JV8 on Kit W41 is going to be able to pull a move off. No closing speed really on that Sauber. Ipsdude is right there as well. Ipsdude having a decent race so far. Darren Style behind him. Then we have Hybrid and a BT now coming out of the pit lane. He's going to be massively behind, almost a lap down. And a BT has most likely had some sort of wheel issue, very much on the racing line. Everyone be wary. Yellow flags in sector 1 coming on to turn 1. Slow car on the outside of the track. Has BT gotten everything under control? I believe so. It looks more under control now. That's a bit of a weird moment. Tess now then has started bridging the gap a little bit to Djokovic. The gap was 2.5 seconds, it's now 3.5 seconds almost, 3.3 to be exact. But Djokovic has been able to get rid of Spence. At the moment, Djokovic is bridging the gap in the Drivers' Championship, but Tess is closing the gap to Matti substantially. As Matti is going to increase his track position a bit further, going past his good friend Iwatz. Those two have done battle around this corner before. Iwatz tries to defend the outside. Matti says, absolutely not, fella, we're not doing this again. And gets past on lap 7 out of 28, and now is free to chase after his former teammate, Noah, and rivals in Red Bull. But I was there a little bit cheeky, maybe, trying to get or trying to defend around the outside. It's always worth a go around there as well. Matti was having absolutely none of it. There's Noah very much on the back of those two Red Bulls, pulls to the inside, maybe trying to move down the inside of Spence. The two makes contact, but no damage caused, I don't think. A little bit optimistic maybe from Noah 48 Vet trying to go down the inside like Vet coming from that far behind. Well, I don't know. Not the best angle, unfortunately. 3.6 seconds, 3.7 seconds now the gap up front. Tess has really begun to pull away from Djokovic here. Red Bull in a situation now where they'd ideally like to somehow try to get rid of Noah, so at least protect one of them. Because Noah's going along nicely here, and it's got a massive slipstream on both the Red Bulls. The Red Bulls defending beautifully here. Noah might just be able to catch one of them off guard. This is a nice little battle, and it's gonna go on for another corner. Here we go. Noah down the inside of the sweeping left-hander, and it's still going side by side. Squidge holds the outside. That's a good defense from Squidge 2017, and now this situation we've seen once before as well, where the Red Bulls just use each other to defend. I know it's going to struggle to get past here. Now Squidge, that is a masterful display from the Red Bull driver, just side by side through basically an entire sector. That's good driving. Good and clean driving, but it's going to be incredibly frustrating for Noah once he might actually have the pace over the two Red Bulls. Nope, they're going to use each other to defend. So Djokovic is running this race in no man's land at the moment. 4.5 seconds off, and that gap is growing as well. And 2 seconds clear of Spence with a comfortable pace advantage. It feels like as well. Matti's now joined this little battle as well. See what Noah's going to be able to do against the Red Bulls this time around. The equivalent of nothing is the answer to that question. As Ginstas, though, is going to fly past Iwatz heading into the braking zone. Iwatz just tries once again. But Ginstas is going to have no... Actually, Iwatz around the outside. Is he going to be able to pull a little bit of a cheeky one off? He's actually ahead and has gotten that position over Ginstas. That is nice from Iwatz. Swoops around the outside. Brilliant driving. As no, I would have loved to see how this happened as well. Has gotten past Squidge now for position, and now is free to have a go at Spence. So that's everything the Red Bull did not need. Now imagine Squidge might have had a moment in Sector 3. Lap 10 out of 28 now, more than third way through this race. Squidge has looked down the inside, you can just see in the left-hand mirror there. But not going to be able to make it work as of yet. J-Man now is past Ginstas as well, coming out of the final corner. Or the fast corner, sorry. So Matt in P6 at the moment on the back of Squidge, Noah and Spenclose. So it could be good damage limitation this for Matt if he can keep it clean. He's maintaining good pace to the guys ahead. Question is just how good is his race pace? And when does anyone pull the trigger on an undercut? As Noah basically just now pushing Spenclose around the third sector. Noah is looking pacey here on this opening stint. Pacier than both the Red Bulls. It's now very much putting pressure on Spenclose. Might he just fancy a little move into turn 1? That is Djokovic into the pit lane on lap 11. So here we go, Noah Van doesn't quite have the momentum to build on Spenclose. Anyone follow? Yeah, a lot of people follow him into the pit lane already, Van. It's a bit earlier than I would have thought. Matty comes out ahead of a Red Bull, and it's that Squidge who's lost the position there. Yes, it is. Matty out ahead of the Red Bull off Squidge. Djokovic on the set of hard tyres, Wigan ahead of him. Samo staying out, Jamar staying out, Noah staying out, Spenclose and Tess as well. I'd imagine they'd come out relatively soon. Matty now 4.5 seconds behind Djokovic on an undercut as well. And this is going to benefit Matty massively, as he's likely to get past Noah and Spenclose with this move. And that would see him net P3 behind Djokovic and Tess. I should mention, Noah's actually going to pass Spenclose now on the DRS rate. Which is just going to hold him up even more. As the two are doing battle through Sector 3, and this is going to be candy in the eyes of everyone behind them. As here we go, and Tess comes into the pit lane. I would imagine we're going to see Noah Spenclose in as well. How about both? So here we go then, Djokovic, where's he going to come out in comparison? He's coming around the third and final sector. He's massively closing in on his teammate at the moment. Teammate that is now coming out, or coming into the pit lane. And where's Matty going to come out in comparison to Noah and Spenclose is what I'm curious about. Should be coming out ahead of him. Might be very, very close between him and Noah. We'll wait and see. He's not going to be able to get out ahead of Noah. Just get out ahead of Spenclose. But he has those warm tyres now. Noah is not going to have DRS on anyone. Maybe apart from a beat. It depends on how he plays this one coming up to the DRS straight. But I think beat is going to have to be obliged to get out of the way before that. The question is, will Noah now have defensive DRS, which is going to save him for yet another lap? Yes, he is. Matty, though, with a slipstream, is still gaining and gaining and gaining. It's going to be close, and is he going to be able to send one down the inside? He's sure going to try. But it's just not got enough. But on the second face of the corner, maybe no. That's optimistic for Matty, just not working out. Yellow flags through Sector 2. Have we had an issue? That's a beat, just going slowly, no. So Djokovic has recovered a little bit of time, but nothing substantial. About 3.5 seconds is the gap. And Matty's now pushing to try to get into that podium place once again. Ginsters, after having a really, really good qualifying, unfortunately just fallen back a little bit in the race now, sitting in 9th. A long way still to go. Ipsdude, 3-second time penalty, multiple track limit warning. So we're starting to see those penalties racking up. Matty now past Noah into turn 1. Okay. Not too expected, but I'm not complaining. as Ginsters now with a 3-second time penalty of multiple track limit warnings. That'll be his first of the race. You can see that on the left hand side of your screen, who has what penalties. Could prove absolutely crucial towards the end of the race, which is why Watts at the moment is doing everything he can to not get any. But here comes his teammate. Don't believe Watts going to make that difficult for him. Jamar goes through up into P7, and Matty and Noah are having a little right on at it. Going through Sector 3 the same way that Noah and was a Squidge went at it a couple of laps ago. Matty now going to try, maybe around the outside of the quadruple right-hander. Definitely wanted to. He's not going to be able to make it work. He's got another line through the penultimate corner, though, and he's going to try. Trying to set up a switchback move, maybe towards the final corner, but it doesn't make any sense to try to go past there. Matty realizes that, and now he's going to have the RS all the way up the hill into the first corner, and he's going to absolutely fly by. Matty Van back up into back up into P3 after a lengthy battle with Noah 48, who just managed to hold position on Squidge, who was a bit interested there. Both the Red Bulls and Jamar with 3-second time penalties worth pointing out. Noah and Matty do not have any. And Djokovic is going to start getting bored with this race. 4 seconds up to the closest car ahead of him. 5 seconds down to Matty. So he might well be running in this position for the rest of this race without seeing basically anyone. Unless we have a safety car halfway through the race then. So we go, Noah on Matty. He's closing, pulling to the inside. Matty's going to be able to defend the outside and braking zone. Noah has the inside for the corner. And Matty's not going to defend that one too hard. Comes back at him though. But he's got to keep those two Red Bull in mind as well. You just had a feeling that this is probably going to go on for quite a while between Noah and Matty. The Red Bulls at the moment are being major annoyance, if nothing else, to everyone ahead of them. With those 3-second time penalties, not really in contention yet, but those penalties could be applied to Matty and Noah in a couple of laps as well with this battling. As Matty once again into turn 1 is trying to make his way through, and he is making his way through. As what's happened to Wing in this race as well is running very much in a race of its own, 7 seconds behind the closest car. That is Sam Obama, and it's not getting anything done realistically. So Wing's not having the best of races so far. Noah's going to have a go at Matty. No, is a Red Bull going to have a go at him? Absolutely, but it's unsuccessful. That is again Squidge and Spenklos just making themselves known and saying we're still here. Don't forget about us. Don't worry. We're still here, just punishing any single mistake you guys make. So checking in with our race lead event, 4.5 seconds up the road in turn 2 at the moment. Djokovic's closest car to him, 4.7 seconds down. And Tess is looking very comfortable at the moment. As here we go, Ben. Here comes Noah on the run down into the braking zone. It's going to be side by side heading into that braking zone. Noah on the inside, Matty on the outside. Matty has to budge, trying to stick it around the outside, unable to, and now has a good defensive because the Red Bull are right there. Squidge and Spenclose then once again just making themselves known slightly down inside or outside of Matty Adam 16. Into turn one, then Matty maybe just fancies to go, backs out of it. Kit, another freezing time penalty for track limits. It's up to 12 seconds now, which has brought Hybrid up a position from absolutely nowhere. So Kit at the moment is ruining his own race. As Noah's made a mistake going through the S's, and that's allowed Matty, Squidge, and Spenclose all pass. Samo, freezing time penalty. Multiple track limit. Warning snap at 6 seconds. Oh, sorry, there goes Squidge on Matty Adam 16 round the outside. And Matty cannot afford to end up behind these two Red Bulls now. Maybe one, absolutely not two. Now Spenclose is having to go as well around the outside. And they know what this means. That means they could just bully Matty around just that ever so slightly. And that is how it is going to go. Matty ends up behind them. And oh no, this is what you did not want. To end up behind these two. Jesus Christ, here we go. It's going to be an uphill battle for Matty right now. But those time penalties do apply. Yellow flags in Sector 2. So Sauber going slowly. That's been resolved. You can immediately see those two going next to each other, going defensive. Matty, though, down the inside of one. Might turn into both of them coming out of turn one. And that's a move and a half. Matty MC, 2 Red Bulls, 1 corner. Have a go. Matty Adam 16. Take a bow. Now that is good driving from Matty, taking both Red Bulls coming out of turn one. It's absolutely brilliant. As Dominic are cheering on Squidge at the moment, sitting P5 along with his teammate, just out of Noah 48. But then that has left Matty in the unfortunate situation of not having any DRS to defend. Which I'm sorry, Matty, that's not going to work out brilliantly for you. Here comes the first Red Bull, here comes the second one. And is Matty going to be able to defend this? Loses out to Spenclose. Is he going to lose out to Squidge later on in this sector as well? I might just end up in a bit of a Red Bull sandwich. And here comes Noah down the inside of Squidge, and that... Oh, was that a bit late? Because that's for Squidge. Down a couple of places as well on Jamar, maybe just on Iwatts. Tries to hang it around the outside, turns into the inside for the penultimate corner. Iwatts just backs out of it, and that's going to allow Ginsters now to have a go at Iwatts, and that's caused a lot of chaos all the way down to P9. From P5 down to P9 as the consequence of that, and Squidge is going to be fuming with that. So here goes Jamar on or down the inside of Noah. These two have had a couple of incidents in the past. Nice and tidy that time around, and into the S's we go with Jamar now in P5. This is going to give Matty a bit of breathing room potentially, which is ever so desperately going to crave. Jamar, though, doing everything he can to maintain a 1 second gap. Just going to be unable to in the end. Matty now, is he going to have DRS on Spenclose, or has he lost out too much? No, it's going to have DRS. Jamar not going to have anything to defend with, though. Oh, here comes the Red Bulls, absolutely flying past Noah on the straight. And sending it down the inside of Jamer as well is Squidge. That's opportunistic, if nothing else. Might have been a bit clumsy. Squidge might have to calm yourself just that little bit. With a dive like that. Thankfully, no damage. But then Djokovic more lonely than he's ever been this season. 5.6 seconds off the lead and 8 seconds to the car down below. And I don't think Djokovic is going to mind the position that he's in. He might just mind the position Matt is in, because he's bringing this championship further and further into the season. Djokovic would like to settle it, but he's going to be in a good position to do it next week. Djokovic and nothing else. Squidge and Jamer are now going at it, coming out of turn 1. Jamer coming out victorious this time around. So having a nice little chase cam as we got a train of about 4 or 5 cars running down from Jamer to Ginstus at the moment. So let's see what order they come out of this DRS zone in. Yellow flags in Sector 2 is a problem for a BT. But here we go, Squidge then towards the inside of Jamer. Is going to be able to make that work. Jamer pulls to the outside and gets a better run coming out of the corner. Squidge hangs it around the outside though, still in Sector 3. Turns to the inside. And now should be able to get that move done. Jamer tries to come back at him. Just unable to. Squidge has the place. But this has allowed Matty to massively pull away now. Along with Spenkler. Squidge has gotten properly held up here. It's a good S sector for now. About just starts catching Jamer a little bit. Fortunately, no DRS zones in the S sector means hard to get past this DRS zone coming up though. But Jamer's gonna have first go at Squidge by the look of things. And Noah just taps the back of Jamer, losing a bit of momentum. So let's see if Iwat's now can have a little bit of a go at Noah perhaps. That's Jamer's going past Squidge. Nothing he can do about that one. And Noah is going to have a go at Squidge. No, Squidge has to pull to the outside though. Take avoiding action of Jamer. I don't know if Squidge just misjudged his braking. What went on as Noah's had a half spin coming round Sector 3. And that is going to send him out of this battle for the time being. See if he can catch back up to it. But now 3.5 seconds off Ginstus. And that's not done Noah's race any favours. Samo at the moment doing everything he can do, but might lose a point to Wigan come the end of this race if he doesn't get his act together now. As here we go, Iwatts down the inside, turns the switchback line on Squidge, and that's a good move from Iwatts. That is going to go on for maybe the S section. No, Iwatts has the position over Squidge for the time being. Matty at the moment just hanging back a little bit with 6 laps to go. We'll have the position on penalties, and so is Squidge on both Iwatts and Jamer at the moment. And Noah's already begun to close up. Unpenalized Noah as well, so keep that in mind. If you can just catch the back of that train, he's going to capitalize on it towards the end. The Squidge has had an issue coming out of the hairpin, and that's going to send him back. And this could be good for Samo, potentially, if he can get past Might just be a bit too far back though. The Squidge, maybe with an unforced error there coming out of the hairpin. Now Spenklos needing to lead Red Bull to a decent points finish. Might just be wise for Spenklos to just hang back behind Martin. I don't think he'll... could be worth... Yeah, to be fair, it is for the podium. If Matty was to make a mistake. But Red Bull do need the points at the moment. Ferrari do need the points as well. Samo not really doing what he needs to at the moment. He needs to be convincingly beating Wigan every single race, because we assume that Djokovic is going to finish ahead of Matty every single race remaining. It's not going to happen probably, but he's going to be right there. And for the Constructors' Championship, Samo needs to outscore Wigan in order to kind of equalise that balance. They're separated by not too many. I think it's about 30 points now, so it very much is on, but that gap is going to widen after this race, with Djokovic taking a couple of extra points on Matty and Wigan taking 1 point extra at the moment on Samo. One way the Samo could equalise that at the moment actually is going for the fastest lap. Because at the moment he is out of the points. There's a couple of people in a good position to go for a fastest lap at the moment. ABT, Hybrid, Darren with nothing to lose as well. As Ginsters now has started climbing back up the orders, up to P6, was down P9 at one point, started P2. But now it's just starting to make a decent recovery here. It's Ginsters, and it's on for a decent points finish as well. Noah unpenalised though, keep that in mind. With 5 laps to go here in the American Grand Prix, or the US Grand Prix. And it's been a lonely race for quite a couple of these guys. BT's an absolutely stinker of a race, unfortunately. JV8 as well. It's had a quietly bad race, JV8. I don't know what's happened. Ipsdude has kept it together. Hybrid, bit invisible since his pit stop, hasn't been able to recover with lack of safety car. Kit has a monstrous amount of penalties. Actually nearing disqualification by the game on penalties. So that could be an issue for him in the last couple of laps. Darren, bit invisible as well, along with Wigan, but he might be able to pick up a point or two. Spenklos now with 6 seconds worth of penalties. So that's going to make his job significantly harder. Now needs to put a gap on Noah, but I don't think it's going to be an issue towards the end. 5 laps to go. So then here we go, Spenklos and Matty to start lap 25, Tessa's 8.8 second lead over Djokovic, and that's a statement, if I've ever seen one. So Iwat at the moment is going to be a bit pressured as well to try to get past Ginsters. Teammates probably out of reach. We still have 3.5 laps to go. A lot can still happen. Unlikely to have safety car this Grand Prix. Even might not have a retirement as well, which I believe would be the first time in a long time. Certainly would be nice to finish with every single car. As Kit is struggling to make it around, whilst his teammates having a good race, Kit is having one of the worst races penalty wise of his season. Decent pace wise, just hasn't been able to keep it together really for the Grand Prix. Samo now on a set of soft tyres, winging naturally up into the points, but he's not going to get any higher than P10. Oh, as I'm saying that, actually, Squidge just has a little bit of a moment. Now Wigan is going to be closing in on that 3-second gap. 4.5, 4.4 it settles on. So second and a half off an extra point. Someone's had an issue coming round the last corner, and that's Wigan who's had an issue coming round. Does he have front wing damage? Zamo's coming up on him. And that is maybe no news for Wigan, actually, just looking at it. He's missing 2 front wing end plates, and this is going to be tough for Wigan now. Might Samo just be able to catch, pass, and gap him? Let's wait and see. He's got a massive tyre deficit as well. Question is now, lap 26, does Wigan just go into the pit lane and try for the fastest lap? It's a point swing, worst case scenario. But that is everything that Wigan did not need. As I was is now going to pass Ginsters and Noah's that 3 are doing battle side by side heading into sector 3. That's an awful camera angle. Please give me another one. There we go. As 3 wide into some of these corners, and Noah's made contact with the back of Ginsters. As it is a bit chaotic every now and again here as we're nearing the end of the race. Last 2 laps now of this Grand Prix. Last lap and a half even. As Samo now has gotten past Wigan. Now is the question, is he going to be able to gap him by 6 seconds in 2 laps? As fastest lap of the race goes to Samo Bamo, then 1:34.737. 2 laps to go. Needs to be 2 seconds a lap quicker than Wigan actually does not, because Wigan comes into the pits. And for some reason they don't change his front wing. They don't change the front wing on Wigan's car, maybe with just a lap to go, and that is his chance for a fastest lap done as well. Which just means the Wigan might have just given up a point for absolutely nothing here. Battle's heating up front as well. Noah's doing a brilliant job at the moment, just recovering in P4 at the moment. Sorry, P5 might be his for the taking. P4 might be just out of reach. Lap 28 out of 28. Now the leaders have just started, so we'll keep an eye on that. There's going to be a close midfield battle. Unfortunately, Wigan's not going to take home anything away from this race. For some reason, didn't change his front wing on that pit stop, which means Samo is going to recover at least 1 point. It's going to turn to 2 points at the end here. Spenclose desperately trying to stay clear of Matty. It's not really going to count for too much. But then, what a drive this is from YPC Test. No safety cars, uninterrupted race. Couple of yellow flags here and there, but no mistakes from the leaders. And he is 9.2 seconds ahead of the championship leader. A lead that is going to be extended come the end of this race. But the championship matter, I'll just do a quick calculation as soon as we're done. Just to confirm that, but the championship matter is not going to be settled here tonight. Djokovic is doing everything that he needs to in the championship. Matt is doing everything he can to keep it alive, but Tess is doing everything he can to get as high up the order as he possibly can. Dominant display once again as YPC Tess crosses the line to take the American Grand Prix Djokovic has to settle for second place, but it's been a good race from him as well. Very quiet race, but a good recovery from P9 on the grid. Matty Adams 16 is going to come home P3 on track, and it's another good performance, and it's a 4th consecutive podium if I'm not mistaken. Brilliant from Matty Adams 16. Spenklos in P4, followed by Jamar in P5. Noah is going to come home to take that P5 away. P6 for Jamar, P5 for Noah. Watts, another strong points finish in P7. Ginsters in P8 at the end. Turns to P9 with Squidge on penalties. And Samo Bamo's going to come home with fastest lap and P10. Next to cross line and still going to take a couple of seconds. Going to be Wigan 71. Unfortunately, no points today. After a bit of a pit stop, blunder. It's a weird one, really, but it didn't replace his front wing. Would have had to go at fastest lap and could have maybe gotten it as well. Not to be, as for some reason JV8 has DNF'd past the start-finish line. I don't know. So has Wigan for some reason. We'll reset that later on. As Darren comes across the line as well, so is Ipsk Dude. We'll just keep an eye on what's going on with these DNFs. I have no clue, really. But they both crossed the line, so it is still going to count for a race result. Ipsk Dude for a 13th is going to translate to, I believe, a 14th once Wigan's been reinstated. Driver of the day to Matty Adams 16 according to the game. It's either him or Djokovic, Charlie. As JV8 said, quit after the line, race to forget. Understand that, but please don't quit until we are into the podium ceremony. Says it does give us a bit of a headache trying to calculate the race result, buddy. Here we go then, YPC test with another win this season. Djokovic in P2, Matty in P3. Jamar up 10 positions as well. Pointed out in chat, there's a good result from him. YPC test then close the gap to Matty. Djokovic extends the gap to Matty by a couple of points. So I'm just going to do a quick calculation to make sure I haven't missed out on anything. But looking at other positions, it is Matty in P3, followed by Spenklos in P4, Noah in P5, Jamar 6th, Iwatts 7th, Squidge in 8th, Ginsters in 9th, Samo with a point in 10th. So let's just have a quick look here. It's 15, 18, and 25. And the championship is... Hold on. No, the championship, for some reason, had been a wrong input. The championship not yet settled, but the gap is closing in. Something in the sheets that I did my calculations in that was a bit off, but the championship is coming to a close. As for the Constructors' Championship, the gap widens just ever so slightly, but that is going to come down to the last few races, if nothing else. But then that has been it for this race in NEF1 for the American Grand Prix. Next week we're heading back to Mexico for the first time in quite a while, and the championship then is well and truly on the line. That's going to be a very, very interesting one indeed. Djokovic, is he going to be able to seal it with 3 races to go? We'll wait and see. But until then, thank you very much for tuning into an absolutely brilliant race tonight. Until next time, we'll see you then. Have a good one, stay safe, and peace out.